Hey, good evening, everybody. Sammy Thunder here. Welcome back to the channel. Um, Yearly recap, I guess, is the new thing with all the videos. And, you know, I don't want to have to draw a video out to 20, 30 minutes. So I wanted to pick a particular pickup of the year for me personally. There have been a lot of great pickups, but the one that stands out the most that I'm going to share with you guys, I'll share the story. I'm going to keep my eye on that timer. Is the Quad Maze pickup. If you're not familiar with this story, it is quite a journey. Um, Four obscure pieces in one transaction, one of those once in a lifetime pickups that really don't happen often. And I was full of intrigue and full of internal joy from the experience. I couldn't believe the possessions, what came from it. But let's start here. So I joined Net 54 this year, I think. I can't remember exactly when. But I joined at 54, and I love the different forums that exist. You can jump around from decades to pre-war. I mean, just everything. And so I put in an inquiry about looking for those Laughlin super stand-ups. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. The Laughlin super stand-ups are a work of art and a niche thing. It's not something that you see at a show because it just takes up a lot of space. How I came to know about the Laughlin Super Stand-Ups, I have to give a very special friend and a dealer named Durward, or Woody, as we call him in the industry. Uh, Woody showed me this amazing piece of art called the Laughlin Super Stand-Up, and it was Willie Mays. And it was at the Philly show. He showed it to me, and I was blown away by the artistry, the aesthetics, and just the uniqueness of the piece. Now, it's a large piece, so that's why I'm saying it's a niche market, but I was intrigued by it. And I asked him, I said, are you selling this? And he goes, no, I'm really just, I wanted to show it at the show. And I couldn't blame him. I still don't blame him. And he has since had it framed, and it looks beautiful. But I wanted one. As soon as I saw it, I said I wanted one. That's so cool. He said he'd keep an eye out for me, and that was it. But I decided to take initiative, and on Net 54, it's full of some big time collectors. I mean, we're talking big time collectors. And so I put an inquiry because you could do that on Net 54. I put an inquiry and I said LTB, or acronym for looking to buy, Laughlin Super Stand Up, and so you can view how many people have clicked on it. And for months, I'm saying months, nobody replied. But I got maybe like 100 views, 200 views, maybe I couldn't tell you off the top of my head how many. But it went nowhere for months. It went nowhere. I actually specifically mentioned I was looking for Willie Mays or Tom Seaver, which I still have yet to see a Tom Seaver in person, but I've seen photos. So Tom Seaver's still on my list. So months go by, and I want to say this was right before June. So about a month before the National, month and a half actually, because it was like the beginning of June, late May, beginning of June. I get one of those private messages on Net 54, and it goes to my email because it alerts me. And a guy named Steve, I think, or Steve, messaged me, and the subject was Willie Mays Laughlin Super Stand Up, and I was just through the moon. I couldn't believe it. He was saying, I have one. I'm looking to sell. I saw your inquiry. Let's talk. So I respond back to him on the private message on Net54, and I said, hey, I'll give you my email. Could you email me a photo of what you have? So he sends me an email, sends me the photo of the front, the back, and close-ups of the Laughlin Super Stand-Up Maze. And I asked him, like, holding back my excitement because this is like a once in a lifetime, oh my god, opportunity. I mean, the last one I saw was from Durward, Woody, and I've been looking on eBay, and they're, all you find are like, you find Babe Ruth, and I think you find Stan Musial, and that's it. You don't find Willie Mays or Tom Seaver. So Steve sends me photos of the Willie Mays. I ask him, how much are you asking for it? And I think he wanted 1,000. And I know Woody got his for about $1,000 as well. And I think Woody's was a little bit nicer, a little better conditioned, or actually much better conditioned. The thing about the one that I have, which I'll show in a little bit, is that the bat part of the Laughlin Super Stand-Up had to be taped back together. But it's by no means, I mean, it's in great shape. So I reach back, I respond to Steve. I said, hey, would you do 800 for it? Just because I know what my buddy got it for, and his was a little better, and so he's like, because you're on Net 54, I'll do 900 for you. And so I said, okay, well, let's do it. That's fair. So that was perfect. We had something arranged. And I think he responded back maybe a couple days later. I thought that was going to be it. He responded back a couple days later by saying, hey, are you interested in other Maze stuff? I was like, absolutely. I mean, what else do you have? I mean, not that anything really tops that, but there are some things that did end up topping it. I mean, let's go into it. So he responds back and he says, he sends me a bunch of different oddball Maze stuff. I mean, we're talking about like sunglasses that were Willie Mays inspired, like toys that were from the 50s, and he sends me a photo of the San Francisco Call Bulletin, and so that one caught my eye. I was like, that's pretty damn cool. So I inquire about that one, of course, and Dom Staven Sports Cards knows the story very well. He was waiting on me to get the Willie Mays because I discovered that set when I was at Strongsville, and I bought the Orlando Cepeda 58. And I bought that one because I thought that's super cool. I stepped outside the boundaries of my collecting preferences to get the Cepeda because it was a rookie seasoned alternative card that steps outside from the Topps issue. So that's a cool set. And I had no idea that Willie Mays was in the San Francisco Call Bulletin. Didn't even know it. I looked it up after I picked up the Cepeda, and I thought, I gotta find the Mays. And of course, I couldn't find one. So when Steve sent me an email with the San Francisco Call Bulletin Willie Mays, I said, I have to have that one too. But I'm thinking, how expensive is this going to get? Because I was, building up a budget for the National. I was a month and a half away. I didn't want to blow through it all. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, this is going to get really rich. And I'm not going to have any money for the National. So he also sends me the photo for what you could see above, the Chesterfield ad. And that's another cool addition. Aesthetically, to me, it's aesthetically pleasing, the Chesterfield ad, but we'll get into that. So the San Francisco Call Bulletin, the Chesterfield ad, that's in the email. And I mean, believe me, everything that he showed me that email, I would have loved to have taken. But again, trying to maintain some self-control here with what I really want ultimately. And I knew the Call Bulletin, the San Francisco Call Bulletin, was on the radar, and I knew the Super Stand Up was on the radar. The Chesterfield ad I thought was cool. It wasn't exactly on my radar. It wasn't really something that I pined over, but I thought it looked cool, and if the price was right, sure. But so after those emails, I told them what I was interested in. I said the call bulletin was cool. I thought that'd be awesome. Let's do that. We'll obviously with the Laughlin Super Stand Up, we'll do that. At the Chesterfield ad, sure, if we can make it work. But I asked him, I said, hey, just inquiring, I'm looking for the 1952 Coca-Cola test tips of Willie Mays. Do you happen to have it? And so I wait. I don't get an email. I think maybe about a day or two later, I get an email back and says, yeah, I do have that one. And I'm thinking, are you, I think I want to say I asked him, I was like, are you interested in selling it? And I think he was on the fence. I don't think he was completely sure if he was going to sell it. I think he was on the fence, and he said, I got to think about it. And, I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's cool. Let me know. I'm definitely interested in the others, but if would really love to have to purchase the Coca-Cola to add to my collection because I'm a Willie Mays collector, and I made sure. I made sure that I was like, this is going in my PC. Like, this is going into the PC. If that helps in any way, not that I imagine it would, but it's going to my PC. So I don't hear back. For I don't know, maybe about 4 or 5 days, and I'm thinking, oh, this is like I'm just like checking my emails, and I go on vacation. I'm in New Orleans at this time. On vacation, and I'm waiting to hear back. And I think I was with my wife. We were at some tour. We went on a tour, and as soon as right before the tour started, I got an email from Steve, and he said, "Okay, here's what we'll do. I've decided. I would love to sell this to you, the Coca-Cola, the the call bulletin, and the Chesterfield ad. I will do all three of those for $2,500." And he mentioned those three items for 2,500, and I thought, absolutely, hands down, no hesitation whatsoever. That is, to me, a phenomenal deal. The Coca-Cola test, the San Francisco Call Bulletin, and the Chesterfield ad for 2,500. And I said, hey, and then so I guess it would be, and I responded back. So I said 30. I guess we'll do 3,400 for everything. That includes the Super Stand Up, the Chesterfield ad, the test maze, and the call bulletin for 3,400, and it worked out perfectly. At that point, my budget was I think about $5,000 maybe going into the national, so it was a big chunk. I was left with under $2,000, and which for, to each their own. For everybody's different. I try to go into the national with at least 3 to 4 if I can, just to kind of experience and have that experience. But that's besides the point of this video. So we agreed. Email, I said, absolutely, let's do it. He said, I prefer cash, and I said, no problem. Let's arrange. I'm going to be back in New York on Friday. So I have no problem coming out to where you are on Saturday. For the record, he lives locally. He lives in New York like myself, and like the Long Island area. So we made arrangements on Saturday, the following day, for me to, after coming back home, to go and meet. So I go to Long Island, drive the 2 hours to his house with the cash ready, and I get to the house, and I'm imagining walking into like a Willie Mays fandom of a house. He mentioned, and I believe him. With all the stuff he had, he has like the one of the largest Willie Mays collections that exist, and then I think he's still keeping a lot of stuff, but he's moving a huge portion of it, and I think he had some stuff on Heritage and auctioned off some other stuff. But I show up to his house, and I was expecting to see cards galore, but what ended up happening was he had all 4 items laid out on the table, ready for me to look at it. And it's just visually just seeing the 4 items together is just it was otherworldly for me because you just don't see the Coca-Cola test tips. You don't see the San Francisco Call Bulletin, and you certainly don't see the super stand-ups ever, ever. So I we made the exchange. It was very fast. It was quick. We had a brief conversation. I said, "Are you thinking about going to the national?" He said, "Oh, I don't think I'm going to be going." I said, "All right. Well, listen. Let's keep in touch. Obviously, that I'm a huge Mays collector, and I'll definitely keep an eye out for the auction that you're going to have. Definitely would love to see what else is out there. I mean, I think I also inquired with him about the home run derby card. I think he said he had one, and I sent an email maybe about a week after I got the exchange, and I said, "Are you going to be interested? Are you thinking about moving the home run derby card?" And he decided not to do it. Not he decided to hold on to it. Which again, it's like one of those things you like. I can't blame him. I mean, the card is one of the most desirable cards out there. It's such a tough card to find, and you see them pop up every now and then. But I just have to say, I mean, all of this really to say is one of the most remarkable pickup stories for me for 2024, and probably the most successful one out of everything. I mean, I've had some great pickups this year, but really just this one takes the cake for me. Um, yeah, private sales are great. Uh, just makes it all the more special. And I guess the thing is that do not be afraid to inquire. Put one of the if you are at Net 54, put one of those posts up. Say, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z. And if you don't hear anything, give it some time. The opportunities are always there. People are looking to sell. So I think it's definitely worthwhile. Let's finish this. We're almost at 17 minutes. I want to keep it under 20. So let's show the items. Let me move my beer. So as I mentioned, this was raw at the time. I bought it raw. This was part of the package, and I submitted it. Came back a 5. And again, it's just one of those things you don't find with the tab too often. You generally will see this without the stubs. So with the stub, makes it more desirable, more of a strong collector's item. This was arguably my favorite Coca-Cola, Willie Mays. This is the only PSA 1. Front and back. Just an absolute beauty, man. This is such a beautiful card. I love the shape of the card. Love the everything that it stands for. The Coca-Cola, Willie Mays, the polo grounds on the back. Coke is a natural. The schedule, the color scheme, it's just incredible. The classic Coca-Cola logo on the bottom. The full biography of Willie Mays. Absolute beauty. I have to just take a second to take down the print. So here's the Chesterfield advertisement. Really a stunning piece. I want to say this was this was made in the 50s, early to mid 50s. I don't know, I just did a quick search and I discovered that the Chesterfield ad was the commercials were the one who established the Say Hey, the nickname. I don't know if that's true. Something I noticed real fast. But there you go, man. The Chesterfield advertisement. And of course, finally, look at this. Really, this thing of beauty. A piece of art. I have to go back here to get the full image. But the Laughlin Super Stand-Up, it was made by Bob Laughlin. He designed these and built these and constructed these on his own. I don't know how many he's made. I only know the one that exists from Woody when he purchased his, and now this one was found, and he personally signed each one with his own little signature on the bottom there. And the idea is that you pull this tab out to literally set it upright on a table. But just a really stunning piece. So, so uh, to say again, 3,400 for those four pieces. One of the most striking and incredible pickups for me this year. We're over 20 minutes. I wanted to keep it under 20, so I apologize. But listen, guys, thanks so much for watching, listening to my story. Hope it was interesting. Hope it was fun to learn something about some of these items. But now you got to kind of get a glimpse of exactly what part of my 2024 looked like. So, Happy New Year, everybody. See you in 2025. Take care.